Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to LUX TV Reviews. Joined by Luke again today. We're doing a
Hello.
spoiler review on LUX. So, here we go. The episode starts in the 1950s, 1952 Miami, with a projectionist called
Mr. Pie.
Mr. Pie. And he's starting his day in the cinema he works in Miami, Florida. And he makes himself a cup of tea. Then the timer goes off, and then he walks out of the screening room where he projects the films in the cinema, and he goes into a vault, opens the vault, and he hears all these film reels inside, and he picks one up and he's smiling about it because back in those days these used to show a cartoon before the main film. So he comes in, puts this cartoon on, and then this character comes on called Mr. Ring a Ding Ding, and let's just say something weird happens. The moon is acting peculiar that night. It's got a big
Beam
white
of light.
aura around it, and then somehow it's bizarre. Somehow it bounces onto the spoon, goes onto the film reel, and then Ring a Ding Ding comes to life and starts talking to the audience and picks on a few people, and then he says to one person, I can hear what you're saying about me, blah blah blah, and I don't like when people laugh. Don't make me laugh. And then he says, I'm going to come out now. And then he comes out, and then the people are screaming, and then it goes back to the TARDIS.
Title sequence.
Title sequence, then to the TARDIS. And it's just a recap of the minute after they've left that planet on Robot Revolution and the problems with the TARDIS not landing on the May the 24th, 2025. So the Doctor invents a new device to try and work a way through. And he said, "Oh, I'm on Earth now. We've done a test. We've landed somewhere in 1952." And then they got to make this fashion dance where they got to change the clothes, and so they have to change their clothes into the 1950s. And then, like, hey presto, the Doctor has to make a political message about his hand and some things like that. You'll know when you see the episode. Now, Luke's got a few things to say.
So, after they come out the TARDIS, so the Doctor has this device that apparently will somehow get them to 2025, May the 24th. And the TARDIS lights, when they get them changed, they all go disco lights, and I was just thinking, what is going on? That is not how the TARDIS works. And then when he steps out the TARDIS and he figures out that they're in 1952, he looks at his hand, which obviously means his skin colour, and he says, 1952, that's wise. We're being preached at here, again.
And the other thing was, when we were discussing, other things came on after this episode, where they have not researched this area of Florida in Miami. In 1952, it was more, there was no racism there. It was more multicultural society with jazz music, and people could eat in broad daylight in Miami, because Miami is more of a multicultural society in Miami. It's totally different to parts of America back then. And they could drink coffee in daylight. They could, and the other mistake was the song that the music was playing in the background when he got changed to TARDIS was not released until 1953-54, and they said it was released in 1952. So apparently, I don't know who it was, but a local went on another show. I won't give the name of the show, but like the local went on another show and put his comments. Says, "I'm from that area, not the area, but I'm from the area where this storyline's from." And I tell you, 1952 was not the 1952 portrayed on film here, on for this episode, and the music and the tone is wrong. So going back to the story, they see a cinema locked up with chains and a lock. So he goes to Belinda. Oh, we can risk and go for a coffee. It could be risky. And the diner guy there that works at the diner points to one of the characters' mothers who says, my son has been missing for 6 months, and the police have presumed him dead straight away, not like investigating. But the diner staff member says the cinema owner is still living there, and there's a film being played every night, and the lights are still on. And then they do like some Scooby Doo jokes, which doesn't make sense. They film and Scooby Doo and Fred and all this, and they're trying to make this episode like a Scooby Doo type episode, but it doesn't work. And to cut the story short, Ring a Ding Ding appears while they're talking to Mr. Pie, and before that, Mr. Pie is distracting them to get out of there because Mr. Ring a Ding Ding's still around and he's making noises that he's in the area. And we find out that he's one of the Pantheons, that they've been making a story about the Pantheons, and they had flashbacks to the toy maker, Maestro, and now Sutek's one of them. But Sutek was in the original Doctor Who was just an alien, pretending to be an Egyptian god, which wasn't true because he was just an alien. The fourth Doctor found out he was just an alien, and they're just rehashing ideas that were very good in the old Doctor Who, and just let's make them super villains. Let's make them the Marvel villains of Doctor Who, but it doesn't work. And as you know, the ratings for this, it's no spoilers now, but as you know, the ratings for this episode was 1.58 million, which is very low. Even though Robot Relations had a slight peak, it's still low. They've got 3.57 million watched it, but that is still low for an episode. You need to get at least 8 million watching to get an audience. So yeah, he changed, and then gradually we get the storyline where he changes the Doctor and Belinda into cartoon characters, and it's loosely based on Disney animation and Scooby Doo animation. And the way they can only get out is they got to think of sad thoughts to get out, and then they eventually get out, which they think they've got out, and there's a mistake in the area they're in of the cinema, and they realise they're still in the film reel because the policeman's badge says New York Police rather than Miami Police. And then they said we're still on the film, so we said the only way we can do it is push to get out. So they push, and
the camera pans around.
They find themselves in a living room, and it's fake Doctor Who fans really, because they say they go on about, oh, we like the Weeping Angels. Oh, you're not supposed to be real because you're a fictional character. Oh, well, I'm real.
Very cheesy moment, really.
I didn't like that. And they found out that they said, we're the distraction to keep you in here, but we wish we were real. But Doctor, remember us. Please remember us. So they go out from that area back into the film reel. And the Doctor said, the only way we can get out of here is just find a way to burn the film. So they find a way to think of a thought of burning the film. So the film gets burnt. They get out into the real cinema. And the Doctor goes, oh, my hand. And he looks at his hand, it's all burnt. And Belinda says, oh, I can treat that. He said, no. I can treat this with, I've got enough, I've saved this regeneration energy to fix my hand.
It's a waste of regeneration.
But if you think of it, if he's regenerated right in the few moments, but when this new rule came out, if you only had been a few hours in this new regeneration, you'd have yet enough energy then. Why is it kept it for the next season? Like, it doesn't make sense. And apparently this episode was filmed when the 60th anniversaries were shown.
Oh.
So, you know, And then they get back, and the only way they can defeat Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Ding is to destroy these films, burn these films. But meanwhile, Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Ding finds a way how to get to the real world and become a real person by taking the Doctor's remaining regenerations cycle. As we know now, he's got limited regenerations. And I was thinking, how many regenerations has he used up already? Because A, he's used a bit already on his hand. And then B, Ring-a-Ding-Ding wants to become real. So he must have used about, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this, but he must have used about at least 3 regenerations there in that scene when he was getting absorbed. And it was getting too Americanized, this episode. And the standout performance in this episode to me was Linus Roach, who played Mr. Pie. He was really good, and we felt sorry for his character because he wants his wife. The storyline is that his wife must have got hit by a car and never recovered, and she passed away, and he wants to see his wife for one last time. So that's why he locked himself in the cinema, because Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Ding gave him this this option of having his wife back but staying in the cinema. And he says I will, and then what he knows then is this part of his wife is not real, it's just a memory. And she says we'll always be together when we meet again. What Mother Moses means, when he dies they'll probably meet again. So he knows what he has to do. His destiny to burn the cinema down. But while this is going on, Belinda wants to try and burn the film, and then he says, "No, go, run, go." And then she runs. She gets out the building. The Doctor gradually gets out when this film starts to be burned, because then he just grows and grows and grows and grows, and then people who didn't see this ring-a-ding-a-ding now see him, and he's breaking out the cinema right through the roof, and then going into outer space. And it turns out the villain doesn't die. He just turns invisible, and he's forever immortalized or something like that. And you think, well, hang on, he's supposed to be a pantheon then. Is he? He's supposed to be lives forever then? Now he says, oh, he can live forever. And he's going out towards outer space somewhere where he can get more what he wants, like. And then there's a mistake in this episode, because I've thought about it now for the past few days that Mr. Pie never got out, but the people in the cinema got out in the end of the film, in the end of this episode. But yeah, I didn't really like this episode. The only thing I liked about was the Linus Roach's role as Mr. Pie. So I'm going to give this episode 1 out of 10.
Yeah. So before we get to my rating, there's a bit that I'd like to add in. At the end, who do we see amongst the crowd? Mrs. Flood, again, because she has to appear in every episode now, doesn't she? So what she says is she recommends the Doctor as a TV show or whatever, and then she says that the story ends May 24th, which is the point in time they're trying to get back to. So yeah.
But the mystery thing for this audience who's in the 50s, who's experienced the TARDIS disappearing, she doesn't give the year. So they think it's in their timeline, but we know it's 2025. But yeah, this is 1 out of 10 for this. And basically, what I'm going to say is, I think the next episode is going to be a carbon copy of Series 2 New Who, and a little mix of Series 3 and Series 4 New Who of Tennant era. I've got a feeling it's going to be a bit of a rehash of some stories. So Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my review. Subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.